Hi, I'm Gervais. I'm a homeschool mom of 6. And if you're new to my channel, I've taught for over a decade in public schools, and now I'm privileged to homeschool my own kids. The purpose of today's video is for me to provide a tutorial for you if you are interested in creating the spirals that I often mention in my YouTube videos. I'm going to walk you step by step through exactly how I bind this, how I put the spiral on, and the tools that I use. In today's video, I'm actually spiraling an old Handwriting Without Tears notebook that one of my children used in a previous homeschool year. I'm going to show you how I take apart the binding on that particular handwriting book, how I bind every single page, how I add it to the spiral. I'm even going to show you the tools that I use whenever I'm spiraling. I'm going to talk about the binding tool that I currently use and where you can purchase it. Of course, I'm putting all the links inside the description. I'm also going to talk about the binding coils that are available in multiple colors, where I got them from, how you can get your hands on them as well. And I also show you the plastic page covers that I like to add to the front of my spirals. So let's get started. So as I get started, I'm using a Handwriting Without Tears workbook. Then I have my GBC binding system. It's a manual desktop binding punch. It has a 6-sheet capacity. It has this little lever that I can slide. And when I slide that, that is what activates actually hole punching. And what's neat is that it's all self-contained. So if I flip this over, you're going to see that this is where it collects all of the hole punches. So super important tool to have for this process. Next up are my binding spirals. And so these are great because they actually come in a variety of colors. These are a 34 hole binding ring, US letter size. And I chose the color orange, but I have multiple colors. Next up are my clear presentation covers, which I like to have on the front of anything that I spiral. So now we're going to get started. I grabbed some scissors for this process, but if you have a cutting machine or a cutting board, go for it. I wanted to show that you can do this with or without a cutting machine. So I'm using scissors here and I'm cutting the paper off the spine of this particular book. You'll notice that there are staples, so I could also very easily just take out the staples and then cut, but I'm just trying to save time. So now that I have a section of this ready, you'll notice now the cover is separated, and then I've got some loose leaf pages, which is what I need in order for me to begin the process of binding. So I want to actually demonstrate what this looks like with this first set. Remember, it is a 6-sheet capacity, so you will feel if it's too much or not. You want to kind of line it up and make sure it's on the lip of the unit, and then hold it securely. And then you're going to go ahead and just slide the lever. Sometimes it takes a little bit of force, but once you do that, you're going to actually finish hole punching. It's super simple, super easy. And then now I'm going to prepare to marry the clear cover with the cover of the book that I'm spiraling today. So I'm going to put the clear cover in, same method, slide it. And then you'll notice that when you take it out, now it's ready to go right in front of the very first page of your spiral. And so that's neat. Now I'm going to grab my spiral binding unit and I'm going to go ahead and lace this together. This is important because this is the foundation of the start of your spiraling. And once you get to the end of the book, you're going to find out whether or not you have the appropriate size. So in my case, I'm going to cut off just one of the coils, so that way this will fit properly. And then I have everything propped up. Sorry, my son is playing with blocks. So, but now everything's prepped. So I like to lay this on the table so I can remember that that's the cover in the front. And then I continue to bind in numerical order using that same system. So I'm going to just kind of duplicate that same process a number of times just to give you a feel for it. So I'm lining up the page on that edge. I'm going to slide it. And then once it's done, I'll flip it over and I'm going to add it to where I place it on the table, trying very hard to keep everything in order. So that way it's easy to flow through the notebook once it's fully spiraled. And then what I found is that after I have slid and I've hole punched one unit, it's convenient for me to slide it back up to the top. So that way, when I load in the next set of paper, it's that much easier for me to go ahead and hole punch. So I'm going to keep this rhythm going until I have gotten toward the end of all of the pages that are in this book. Sometimes some of the holes are a little bit off and it's not completely aligned, but I'm not super picky here. I just want to make sure that I get it bound. So I'm hole punching them in sets of about 6 pages. give or take. Sometimes I can get a few more in. Now's the fun part. When you come to the last segment, which is like the back cover, you want to go ahead and feed that in, and you're going to be finishing out your spiral. So I want to show you how you can complete this and make it one whole complete closed unit. So I was thinking about doing this on the table, but no, I'm actually going to bring it up toward the camera so you can really get a feel for what it looks like. So basically what you're going to want to do is pinch together the different coils one by one to snap them. Sometimes I just do it really fast by squeezing them together, and then I go and I check. I check to see if there's any that are open, and I will close the last few just to make sure everything is done. And voila, you have a spiraled notebook. And so I like, because then it's easy for you to turn the pages. I like to have that clear cover on the very front, like we talked about before. I like that it's easy for me to turn the pages, and I like that I can actually fold back the notebook and just focus on one particular page at a time. That's typically how I set things out for my kids. But it's also super easy for me to flip over the spiral. It just makes it so much more user-friendly, and it's super easy to close, as you can see. And I like that with the binding rings that I chose, there is a very unique spine. It kind of keeps the notebook intact. And voila, we have a fully spiraled notebook. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. I got so many comments, people asking, can you please show how you create your spirals? And I wanted to make sure that you knew that I'm listening. Thank you for joining my journey as a homeschool mom of 6 and weighing in by making those comments, because it gives me ideas. It lets me know what you want, what type of content you want me to create on my YouTube channel. So if you enjoy this video, please hit the like button. If you have not subscribed, please, I invite you to join our homeschool family virtually by hitting that subscribe button. Hopefully you found this to be very helpful. If you know someone else that would benefit from this video, please go ahead and share it with them, so that way they can also learn how to put together a spiral. If you have any other topics that you would like me to talk about and tackle on my homeschool channel, please add some comments. I read every single comment. I try to respond to every single comment. I appreciate the fact that you've joined me on my journey. Until next time, bye for now.